This season on The Couch, Falz the Bad Guy and Laila Johnson Salami place your presidential aspirants on the hot seat.
This guy want to put me in trouble. I won't allow you.
No, but
Okay.
no, this is a very important and sensitive topic, I believe.
The truth.
Okay, do you think that right now, people that have a certain sexual orientation are being discriminated against?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
The excitement.
C'est le moment de faire la fête, c'est le moment.
And the totally unscripted nature. Oh wait, but what is on the couch?
It's a relaxed style. I don't want anybody to come here and tight your chest. I don't know, stronger face. This kind of setting is all relaxed. You have your stocking, you have your shoe, put on your knicker.
It's On the Couch with Falz and Laila.
Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of On the Couch. My name is Falz, the Bad Guy.
And I'm Laila Johnson Salami. And today on the couch we have possibly the youngest aspiring presidential candidate. Am I right?
Yes, I'm the youngest. And my name is Adamu Garba. I am 36 years old. And I'm a presidential aspirant under the platform of the APC of the coming 2019 election, as well as the CEO of EP.8 Solutions Nigeria Limited.
Amazing stuff. So what do you do in your spare time?
Really, what I do is I like books. I read a lot. In fact, like between January this year to now, I read up to 27 different books about foreign policy, and serious expert discussions about how to create policies that enable countries. This is something I have been doing for a very long time. So mostly what I do in my spare time, read, watch movies, very important movies that talk about historical antecedents of some happenings.
What's your favorite movie?
Tudors. Inherit the Eight of Tudors.
Tudors.
The Tudors, yeah.
Interesting.
Tudors.
Yes.
Interesting.
I don't think I watched that one.
No, same here, but we'll watch it. Interesting. So do you have a family? What's your family like?
Yes, I have a family. I have a wife and 4 children now. Yes, we are all living here in Lagos.
One wife?
Yeah.
Just one.
No, I'll have the second one, I think, by next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many do you plan to eventually have?
2. I need to balance up.
Just 2 is okay?
2 is okay.
Don't want to go for the maximum 4?
I don't want to hit that maximum level. I think if I go beyond that, I get off balance, even when I was dating also.
Do you think there are any negatives, though, to polygamy in Nigeria today?
Yeah, naturally, there should be. In every human thing, whenever you have 2 people coming together, there must always be something negativity about it. Also, we need to look at the positivity too.
Okay,
So
what are the
the
positives?
Yeah, the positives is you have a society, right, where we have the definition of responsibility in our society for a man is to be able to be economically stable, to be able to have a social standing that is responsible enough in the society, to be able to also have some level of economic responsibility.
So you feel like
now,
do you feel like economic stability and responsibility is the solution to the negatives that arise in the polygamous home?
Yes, sincerely, that is it. Because if you look at, let me give you an example. Like now, if you look at families, what I'm planning to do personally is that I have a wife 1 and wife 2. And then both of them are economic contributors to the family. They have businesses they are doing. None of them is coming to take from me. Everybody is coming to bring in on the table. That's the more plus than somebody that has only 1. And at the same time, I'm giving them responsibility and the cover of having a husband.
Okay,
So this is beautiful.
So women can have 2 husbands.
No, one cannot have 2 husbands. Because let me tell you why. Let me tell you the problem with polyandry.
Why?
No, I'm
What if I
there.
want to have 3 husbands now?
No, let me tell you the consequences of having 3 husbands. Like now, as a man, you have 10 wives, for instance. You see sometimes those men that have many wives, according to my own personal belief, they even tend to live longer and happier. Wow. Because all the pressures are absorbed away. But for a woman, just go and meet a lady on the street, all this street prostitute of 18 years. You think she's 35 because she's consumed. Men sucked up. I'm coming. Men sucked up from you. We drop into you. So some of the things that we do.
The primary function of a woman in society is to reproduce and to sit at home popping out children.
No, this is not the primary function. This is a biological function.
Okay.
Is it correct to say she belongs in the other room?
It is absolutely correct to say she belongs everywhere.
Wait, so how do you
How do you handle, let's say, equal satisfaction? So maybe somebody today feel like it's their turn to be in the other room, but the other one also feels like it's their turn. So how do you guys separate?
No, the reason why we're here today and we sit here, this is something is because of the order of this arrangement. Order sets everything in shape. So what you do is there's a time for you and there's a time for you. This time for you is your own, and this time for you is your own.
So you get my attention on Monday, you get my attention on Tuesday, the kids get my attention on Wednesday, on Thursday, I'm back to you, Friday back to you.
Get attention every day.
I think it will be about the spicy presidency, because there will be first lady 1 and first lady 2.
There will be no first lady 1 and first lady 2, there will be first ladies.
First ladies?
Yes.
Not first and second lady?
No, first ladies.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
How many children do you want?
I want to have, then I used to say I want to have 7, but now I think they are so low, I need 12.
I have a serious problem with street walking and child labor. Our statistics when it comes to modern day slavery are honestly very heinous at Adamu. 875,000 Nigerians are victims of modern slavery today. We go down the road, we see children hawking on the roads, etc. Yet we don't necessarily have child protection institutions that can actually help these children out. What do you intend to do on that forefront?
Now, people can hide behind religion and culture to shield themselves of economic responsibility, and that is what is happening. So the only way to remove this is to look into your education system. What is there into the education system? Like now, if you look at our program, what we organize around the primary education system is the most robust that have ever been organized in this country. One of the proposals we put in my campaign. Now, what we intend to do is to look into how primary schools of Nigeria, we have over 12 million children out of school. These are where you get the slavery going on. How do you absorb them? Check the economic responsibility away from some of these weak parents.
Shiaki asked about child protection services.
Yes.
That's how we arrived at education.
Yes.
So are you saying that if we invest in education, at primary level,
yes,
as you said, then we wouldn't need child protection services?
To be very sincere with you, the education system is not about going to class, hold chalk and talk. It's about orientation, it's about guidance, it's about building culture, it's about identity, and a lot of things. That is how you look into primary school. Primary school is very, very important. Very, very important in a society like ours.
Wait, you're not getting that.
Yes.
The question I asked is what she first asked. So child protection services. So a certain agency or a certain body,
yes,
vested in the responsibility of looking at the welfare of children.
That's exactly. And they should be an affiliate of primary school.
Oh, okay.
So you want child protection services attached to
primary school. What I want to do is, our plan is that no child can go to primary school in the morning and come back maybe during the noon. They should stay there till 6 p.m. So a lot of activities is happening there. A lot of activities where we're grooming the future of our children.
If when I was primary school, they told me school is closing by 6,
I would have run away.
Let me tell you why. Because there is so much trouble in the school than fun. So you want to come home to have fun. We are going to put the fun in the school.
Adamu, please, let's speak to me in policy language now. What policies do you want to adopt to ensure that, first of all, the 12 million children, or over 12 million children out of school in Nigeria today are put back in the classrooms.
Yeah.
Secondly, the gender gap in education is shut. And thirdly, the institutions are developed to support a conducive environment for primary school education. What policies do you plan on adopting?
Yeah, that's why I told you that because of the bureaucracy of the Ministry of Education, if you say you are going to handle that particular issue through the ministry channel, you may have trouble. We are creating a national delivery center for education. It's like a task force that have a thin line reporting line to the presidency. So we are going to extend, I told you, we're going to move the fund from the TED fund back to the primary school education. That fund can build primary schools, educate classrooms. We are also going to make sure that all the children are there. The reason why you have some of the children, especially on the gender gap, in the area where I come from in the north, that the women are not, the ladies are not actually being enrolled in primary school, is simply because they have higher tendency of bringing more money when they hawk, because they are ladies. So when they go out with some small tray on their head, people tend to patronize it more than men. And that is exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with culture. So once you standardize the primary school and incentivize the parent to send to the secondary school, like Brazil have done in Bolsa Familia. What Brazil did with Bolsa Familia is, when you send your children to school, we're going to give you 1,000 naira per month.
So basically take
Now, you
away
incentive,
from
yes.
one type of education and put into another. So essentially what we're going to see under
Yes.
your proposed administration is that tertiary education is not necessarily going to have that much focus anymore, and the funds are going to be shifted into primary
Yes, I believe
education.
universities should go autonomous, with the exception of 4. I believe all university students, if I can be able to go to university, is fine. But what we
Exception
intend
of
to
4?
do, with the exception of 4,
Which?
yes, we are looking at Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, we are looking for University of Nigeria Suka, we are looking for University of Ibadan and University of Lagos. And what we intend to do is to model them as research development center for all industries. Like we want to balance of the demand from the industry and the demand coming from the academia. So that whatever the academia is working on is what industries can process and make money out of.
So all other
So,
state universities like Delta State University, etc.
those ones should go autonomous. My target is for a child to finish secondary school, it means you are equipped enough to take care of yourself. Because in our secondary school, we are introducing what is called VET system, vocational education and training system. Whereby while you go to primary school, you have opportunity for vocational activity in what you are doing. And we are going in partnership with industries. For instance, you have Indorama Petrochemicals. I said Indorama Petrochemicals, I need a secondary school from you. We will come in PPP, set up a secondary school, and then show how you operate, what you do, how your work is happening, and then the student from this secondary school can learn exactly what you do to process. So by the time you graduate, you already know how to process chemicals and the chemical industry, so you are actually technically quotient. Similarly, you go to Julius Berger, we need secondary school, you can't just be constructing road for us without giving us knowledge. So our children from young age should be able to have technical capacity so that once they go out of the secondary school, they can be able to be economically productive. And our target is a win-win. If I am a smaller construction company and some students graduate from Julius Berger Construction Company, 10 of them graduated, maybe Julius Berger pick one, the remaining 9 ones can go to the smaller construction company with high level of intellect to deliver effective service for the country. And at the same time, you get cheap labor because in the labor you shape, you conform to your own standard, and then they can be able to fund themselves to go to universities. So to the best of my knowledge, in a country where you have almost 70% of the population below the age of 30, you need to focus on skills and capacity development first and foremost, than X and Y is equals to 0. This is not going to give you nothing for now. So that is exactly what we intend to do.
Okay.
So from secondary school, you should be able to fund your way to university if you so wish.
Policy-wise, what do you have planned for the health sector?
For the health sector, we are planning a contributory health sector. We look into the NHIS, like the National Health Insurance Scheme, and then though a very beautiful proposal for the country was grossly underutilized because there are a lot of things around welfare, that goes into it. Now, we come back to tax, still on the health sector. We are going to create, apart from the NHIS body, we now have another insurance for the health sector, for the HMOs. Because our target is to separate the hospitals from the lab, in a given building, the lab again from the diagnostic center. Hospitals, lab, and the pharmaceuticals are going to be separated. Now, we now have NHIS as the main body regulating, only regulating and certifying. NHIS is not doing anything other than that. Now, we now have what is called the insurance that can insure for the HMOs. Now, each and every member of the community will have certain amount of money they contribute to the pension, to the health account. Now, if my job as a daily basis is to hawk in the street and get 200 naira savings, maybe I can put 1% of that amount of money into my health contributory account.
So you don't want to eradicate street hawking. That's something that
I'll just give you an example. Like if what I get is 200 naira, I can put maybe 2 naira, as my healthcare sector. So if my job in my office is to get 100,000, I'll also drop maybe 1% of that value, which is 1,000 naira. If your job is 1 million naira, you drop 10,000 naira in the same health account. So it's a contributory scheme whereby each and every member of the society gets to drop certain amount of money that he earns into the health account. My target is to cover up everybody. So what you do is, if I don't have any means of income at all, the basic healthcare, there is amount of money that is allocated for that. Because if you look into the workforce that we have in Nigeria, about 47 million people, that earns at least above the minimum wage. Now, if all of them are dropping the money, and if you now tie down all the other businesses.
Sorry, just 1 second. Let's do the maths here. 47 million people in our workforce, yet over 80 million people living in absolute poverty in the country. So how exactly is that going to scale
That
up?
is why
Where you have more people that have no money at all compared to those who are earning.
That is exactly what it is.
So that's like
What percentage?
of the income?
I'm giving you an example with 1%. As simple as negligible 1%, but that is the mandatory contribution. But as somebody like you who wants to do maybe charity, you can drop more than that.
Is that something that the 1%? Is that something you've actually sat down with like a focus group maybe and like thought of, or is that just something?
That's exactly what it is. Because when we conceptualize, we find out that every month we'll have up to 20 billion naira into the health pool. Now, if you have this every month, so you are going to be attracting best hospitals in the world. Now, federal government have no business hiring doctors. Now, these doctors should now go and be hired by private companies, private health providers, and that money is going to be attracted by the private health providers. Now, if I go to have my basic primary care, maybe I have malaria and I get to the hospital, all I need is just to submit my card or to authenticate myself with the bio ID, which everybody will be registered. So if you treat me and I get the right treatment, I authenticate you to get your payment. If I don't get the right treatment, or maybe you bastardize me and go to the next hospital and authenticate myself and get treatment, but pending when I authenticate myself, you are not going to get nothing. So it's just going to be a complete win-win. We drop the money that is completely outside government control, that will be automated by technology from the back end. So all I need is just to come in, provided I am registered with a bio ID, I come in, authenticate myself, get treatment, authenticate for you to get paid. The plan is beyond restructuring. We call it structural reform. It's actually anchored around what is called the 3R system: the reawakening, the rejuvenation, and the renaissance of the Nigerian state. The reawakening model picks the cognizance of the fact that Nigeria is in deep identity crisis. Most Nigerians don't know who truly they are. Are they Nigerians, or are they Fulani, or Igbo, or Hausa, or Yoruba, or are they Northerners, or Southerners, or Easterners, or Westerners? This is a very serious issue that requires national consciousness to channel and to see how we can build it. Me, I'm a Nigerian, first and foremost, and in every way. So this is actually what we need to really fix. So we have to confront it as a national assignment. It has to decentralize, remove religion completely from our institutions, which is one of the biggest
remove religion
from public institutions completely. I call it institutionalized religion. In fact,
so from syllabus, or you mean like there wouldn't be religious schools and stuff like that?
No. What I'm saying is, in our public institutions and our public policy dimensions, we should be able to separate it completely from religion. Nigeria is a purely secular state that it should be secularized in all the way. So I don't believe we should put religion, because currently one of the serious amplifying factors in Nigeria is religion. And of course, anything that associates with religion eventually end up into a very big fault line and bring.
So in simpler terms, to a layman, can you stick that in simple English? I'm going to remove religion from schools. Is that what you mean? Like, what do you mean? There wouldn't be religious institutions anymore?
There would be religious institutions, but they remain as traditional and cultural anchors in our society. But they don't partake in our policy making and shaping our policy directions. And they are completely not welcome in the way the country's governance system is instituted, because that is actually where you have serious polarization and divisions and tensions in the community. And that is what we intend to do as much as possible. So I will even promise that as a symbol of that, I will remove mosque and church from Asoro completely, so that people can know that coming to work is actually working. Asoro is a place to work, not a place to pray. So what we need to do first and foremost is to work in the interest of every Nigerian. Although our constitution recognizes maybe two religions, but I don't believe Nigeria have only two religions. I believe there are so many religions, and every one of them are principal actors in the Nigerian project. So whatever we should do, we should show ourselves as Nigerian first and foremost. Not the northern and the southern, eastern and western, up now or down now, Christian or Muslim kind of thing, but Nigerian. And this is an identity problem.
We're looking at the world today. What 3 states in the world would you say, yeah, those are states that I aspire for? Like, I aspire to have Nigeria becoming a state like those states?
Frankly, I studied 144 different countries from 2007 down to 2015. My job is just studying countries, because I'm so much interested in leading these countries since 2003. That has been everyone that knows me.
2003?
2003, I was 22. And I was talking about Vision 2019. That same Vision 2019 even made people to start seeing me as a bad person.
What,
My
you worked
university,
about
they
it,
sent me
or-
away.
If you were talking Vision 2019
At 2003.
2003,
Yes, in 2003.
by that time they hadn't necessarily passed the law that allowed you
To be very sincere
run
with you,
26.
to be very sincere with you, that is what so many of my friends in the school I attended to Kano University of Science and Technology were saying it's like a vision. How did you know Vision 2019? Why are you talking Vision 2019?
Is it jazz?
I don't
So
know.
you already predicted
Since
that by now.
by 2019, I will emerge as one of the youngest Nigerian presidents. Sincerely,
But
in
even
fact, I
though
can
the
show you some
constitution-
of the places where I worked then.
Even though the law didn't allow it.
The law doesn't allow it, but I just started.
Were you one of the influencers or pioneers, the Not Too Young to Run?
To be very sincere with you, we just came close to each other when about 16%, 16 states have passed the law.
Okay,
I wasn't even part of that.
you are running under the APC.
Under the APC platform.
You are running against the incumbent president.
Absolutely, yes.
What do you think your chances are?
The chances are very bright, very bright.
Why do you say
Educators.
so?
I am very confident that Nigerians need a new beginning. Not just, I don't know why people see APC as a party of some people that are bad. Many members of the APC felt the consequences that we are
But
feeling.
there's party godfatherism.
No, those party godfatherism have been taken over by direct primaries. You can vote for me in the primary election. So how do we shield that responsibility?
I'm so sorry, just to answer my words. People that vote in primaries, are they not members of the party?
They are members of the party. You can be a member of the party
But
by
not
going to
the
the
members.
secretary.
So basically, I'd have
You
to
can go
become a
outside and
member.
collect the membership card and become a member. And
You
then
have to
after
agree
that,
with your party ideology. You have to agree with your, with your party manifesto before I just become member.
if we mistakenly stay and still think that there is a party ideology in Nigeria,
Oh.
we are making a very big
So
mistake.
there's no such thing.
We don't have
So I should not
ideology.
join any party then.
Join party and then define the ideology. It's very important. There are 3 things or 4 things that shapes party ideology globally. You have order, you have stability, you have justice, you have equality. These 4 things make definition between the right and the left.
Okay.
The right pick order and stability, while the left picks justice and equality. So that is how party ideologies are shaped, and people are born into this ideology. Some people will just find it naturally conservative. They don't want things this way, they want it that way. Okay, belong to the right. Some people want it the other way. Okay, belong to the left. What parties do we have? A combination of group of people that cross carpet every time to just go and collect their share at the center.
Yeah, we don't have
Just sit on the
any-
table
It's
to
a
make a
national
party.
cake.
It's a national cake.
So if you
this
want
is
to
why-
show-
That's why they're
So-
changing party
Yes.
like clothes.
So our problem is we are too idealistic, especially the intellectual class in the country. We are too idealistic. We want to associate with the best thing, get and camouflage with them, then define the right.
Let's look at your
That is exactly
educational
what we do.
background for a bit.
Yes.
What did you study in university?
Frankly, I was studying electrical engineering, 300 level. I was sent away because I'm talking about Vision 2019.
Okay, so
And
you
I was
didn't
shipped.
finish
I didn't
university.
finish, yes, I didn't.
Okay, that's
How many parties have you been a member of?
I've only been a member of PDP because then I support policies of President Obasanjo.
You defected.
So you two are cross capital.
In fact, since the 27 election that ushered in President Yar'Adua, that of course you see a lot of gross rigging in that election that the international community. I am like a globalist. I am a globalist. I believe in the principle of globalism. I believe in globalization, and I believe we belong to all common society. A country that is degenerating, a country that is dividing, a country that will result to killing itself, even the government killing members of its country, needs a very serious reform. And that reform is orientation, is enlightenment. People need to be illuminated. People need to see the consequences of what they do. And the best agency to handle that is the Nigerian Orientation Agency, that is completely put under a Ministry of Information that sometimes even the budget cannot even fund some of their logistics. So this is a very serious problem. I'm going to work with these 2 agencies very strongly, NOA and Copyright Commission.
How are you funding your campaign?
I'm funding my campaign by some small contributions from myself and my very close friends.
Small.
Very small.
It's very expensive to run.
I know it is very
So
expensive.
small contribution.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the 2015 elections were the most expensive we've seen. 2019 is probably going to be even more.
That's
We're
true.
looking at hundreds of billions of naira here, Adamu. How exactly do you plan on putting yourself at the forefront for Nigeria's current leading party?
Yes, what I'm trying to do
With
is
small
to
contribution.
this very
Small.
small contribution. What I'm doing now is we are dropping a lot of our programs and manifestos that has never ever been done in the history of this country. the kind of programs that we allied for addressing all Nigerian problems have never been done in the history of this country. If you check on adamugarba.org, our website. Now, but Nigerians have to be convinced that we can do it. And once they are convinced that we can do it and we're giving them the alternative platform, which I believe so far in the country, I'm the only one giving that right alternative. Because I'm sitting directly in the party that have the structure and I can win.
What is your greatest achievement as a person?
As a person, I think to be born of my parents. That's one of the first things. And the second thing is my capacity to be able to bring something from 0 and then put it to 1.
What is your greatest achievement as Mr.
Adamu Garba. Mr. Adamu Garba started a company in the street of Lagos, trekking from Surulere down to VI and come back, and succeeded in founding a company that have more than 13 international recognition, IPI solutions servicing 39 African countries with 45 staffs, you know.
What's the company called?
IPI solutions.
IPI solutions.
Yes, yes. From ground zero at the age of 36, with all those things.
We're living in a world where artificial intelligence is taking over a lot. Meanwhile, here in Nigeria, we still haven't even been able to develop on human capital resource. So technology is catching up with us. Meanwhile, human beings haven't even been given the chance that technology is about to take. What exactly do you plan on doing about this, and how do you want to balance?
No, the issue is, you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is leapfrogging. We quickly jump into leapfrogging. If you notice the way economies go, they start from primary to secondary and to tertiary education, graduation. Now, we started with the primary commodities where we have the oil and some other grains that we export out of the country. We didn't industrialize, and then we jumped into service economy, and that is where the problem is. So I believe the biggest problem we have that even bring about a lot of joblessness in the economy is because we remove the vacuum of secondary economy, which is industrialization.
What's the solution? What's your policy?
My proposal, first and foremost, is farm to factory. Whatever you farm in the farmland have to process through the factory before it can come to the shop for our stomach. You don't have a country where you have massive amount of people not working, and then you decide to farm tomatoes and then bring it to the shop. You don't do that. It has to be processed. If it is being processed, it's going to employ labor. And if it employs labor, it gives more tax. And if it gives more tax, it creates more different industries. For instance, in this country, we have cotton in abundance that are produced. This cotton is a huge industry chain. You know, you can make it. From there, you create garment. From there, you can take it to dry cleaners, to distribution, to retail, and a lot of things. So it's a huge industry chain. So what we need to do is to make sure we industrialize. First and foremost, in everything, we should have a policy, which is one of the things I'm proposing. No policy of export of primary commodities. So farm to factory. I don't want to take granite from the farm and then go and sell it in one Uroba 200 naira. I want it to be processed. I don't want any other thing coming from my farm not to be processed. Once you do that, Malaysia have done that. They succeeded. Indonesia currently, that's what they are doing. They succeeded. Thailand, that's what they do. They succeed. India, because of some of the challenges they have regarding their land reform policy that is sending away investors, you know, they are also trying to do that, and it's been working for them, and they've succeeded in leaving a lot of their people out of poverty. So this is actually what we need to do. Okay. So that's what we're looking at.
All right. I don't know if you guys in the house have some questions. Do you have any questions?
The trust of universities, why those four?
Yes, because the reason why we pick this for, if you check historically, even if you go to the United States, you see there are some key universities, AP, as allied universities responsible for research, documentation, and giving right intellectual property for industries to process. If you do everything, you have trouble. But if you concentrate your capacity in 4, you have capacity to get the highest output you need that can be able to service the larger societal function. So that is actually why we channel this for. And we pick them based on some consideration in geography. And also Lagos, being a city that we don't want it to be like a state again in Nigeria, I want it to be an autonomous city. We are targeting Lagos to be like an international financial center and a real estate center. Our policy proposal is making sure that Lagos have all the major international banks resident here, and we also want to make it autonomous completely, not member of a state government, but an autonomous city that is going to compete internationally, so that we can also have our alpha city. We believe it's grossly underutilized. So we also need a university in Lagos that can be able to anchor the process of globalized Nigeria from Lagos. So that is actually why we choose the University of Lagos.
Do you believe we need a minister from every state?
From every state. You see, our civil service is overbloated. Currently, we have 30%, about $29-30 billion in our budget. 72% of this amount of money goes to salaries, emolument, and other things. This is a serious problem. You don't have overbloated civil service. You know that there's less than 4 million people consuming 72% of state resources in the name of salaries and entitlements. So that is why I believe ministers should be appointed strictly based on competency and the need that is available right now to address in Nigeria. Now, if you look into our 4 areas where we need to focus on, where we need centers for education, trade, infrastructure, and foreign policy. Because we need to make sure our foreign policy is tightened very well. We need to make sure we liberalize our trade, we regulate Nigeria, we make it to one of the market economies. We understand that trade in Nigeria is the most expensive. Nigeria is the most expensive place to import today in the world, and the most expensive place to export too. So we need to liberalize. So I need a very specific international guide to be conforming to the principle of the World Trade Organization's TFA, Transport Facilitation Agreement, to be handling my Ministry of Trade. And then I also need Ministry of Education to handle my delivery center so that we can get the right marriage between industry and education system. In the secondary level and the primary school level, we have the standard education. Then I also need infrastructure. I need 50,000 megawatts of electricity in Nigeria. I need about 6 of the major roads in Nigeria to be properly tapped. I need to dredge River Naija and River Benue so that we can transport our goods on water than the way it is done on land. Because if we transport on water, it's 8 times cheaper than when it is transported on land. There are a lot of things that we need to do. So to remake Nigeria, we divide it into 3 triangles. We have the market triangle, the energy, and the industrial triangle. And then from there, we now begin to balance of the country. So I need a very heavy work on the Ministry of Infrastructure. So I don't see it as a very serious thing to have Ministry of Power and Ministry of Petroleum separated. They are supposed to come together. That's actually what we are proposing. And then we'll bring them into Energy Commission of Nigeria, not really at the level of ministry, because I don't believe their job is separated. I'm bringing energy, petroleum. I'm also trying to give power to Nigerians, which is also energy. So they should work together because we have about 5.3 trillion cubic feet of gas that can power our home. So we need to exploit that. We need to exploit the coal deposit we have in the country that is almost 2 billion tons. So all those things, we needed them to come together so that we can build a country. So the infrastructure is a larger ministry that will be headed by one minister, but with several parastatals that are working to deliver the right result for Nigerians. So this is actually how we are looking at it. Then, of course, the foreign policy, which I mentioned. So 4 key areas I need to focus on. All other ministries, really, for now, I don't think it's a very serious area where we need to look at if we don't address these 4 key specific ministries.
What about the Ministry of Youth and Sports?
The Ministry of Youth and Sports is very important, but now our youths, the number of them participating in sports, the number of employment in the entire sport industry globally is no more than 60 million people. We have more than 100 million people in Nigeria living in poverty, and almost half of that are youthful population in Nigeria. The total sport industry in Nigeria, I told you, the entire civil service industry in Nigeria is employing less than 4 million people. This is a serious problem. I need to industrialize this country very, very fast.
So
that people can get jobs. That not really grow the civil service, you shrink it.
Okay.
When you're talking about this, that's exactly what it is. So you need to shrink it. You need to move that money back to the people so that they can get jobs. Like if you look into our policy proposal on tax, for instance, we call it 1:20. We create a concept of what is called the free enterprise. That means the same way you have free zones, you have free enterprise, tax-free enterprises. So for every 20 million naira turnover you recorded, you are supposed to employ 1% in exchange for getting company income tax flat. But if you don't employ 1% for the next 20 million naira turnover you recorded, we are going to tax you the company income tax and pick that money and power those companies that want to employ people. So it's a complete win-win. And there are some industries that I know personally. It's an oil company that have a turnover of almost $6 billion in Nigeria, employing 13 staffs. Why do you have to pay this? I tax you high because I need this money to power my industrialization.
Borders have been known to be very porous. What's your plan for border control?
Yes, the border control measures, you need to tighten up your policy belt around the neighboring countries. The current administration tried that a lot. We brought them to the table because of the crisis, security crisis around the borders. But that's what we need to do. Currently, China has encircled us, and it's really bringing its currency into our bank. And this is a very serious problem, Now, what we need to do is to make sure that these bordering countries make their market to be Nigeria. The only way to control security of a nation is to grant their market. If they believe they make profit from you, they will not allow anything to destabilize you. And that is why you see most of the countries that are surrounded in any nation that are benefiting from trading with that nation, they make more money. Chinese total trade around West Africa only is about $200 billion. What is the total trade of Nigeria with the neighboring countries?
I mean, I understand this.
Yes.
What I said is the different angle points.
Yes.
The different points, I get it,
Yes.
which makes sense. But I'm saying that my question is really like security.
I understand you.
Now, for example, because
I understand you.
Because growing the market,
Yes.
it's a long process.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
now it doesn't need to bother stores and allow goods and
I'm coming. You see, when you want to do something in life, you have to measure your size. The total uniform men in Nigeria are less than 1 million people.
Uniform
men.
Okay, security.
Militaries,
Yeah.
police.
Okay.
Less than 1 million people. And you have a border that is more than 5,000 miles. How do you secure these 1 million people? Even if you tell them all to go to the borders. But you can secure by greed. You have 3 things that secure people: fear, greed, and curiosity. The security comes from fear.
And data.
You secure by greed. Yes. No, data is very important, right? Data is very important. But somebody will have to dare to check somebody that is coming into your borders.
Because
somebody have to scan the person that is coming into your borders.
even the international airports that we have. It's very terrible. That's even like let's leave the borders where you just walk across every border, everywhere in Nigeria, everywhere you just walk across the borders and you just get a stamp or whatever. Even flying in, we still have cases where they manually search bags where there's no proper check. We travel a lot. We see how things go through checks and we can see. But now Nigeria, when you come in or you go out, it's just someone putting their hands in your bags or someone just saying, "Oh, what are you carrying?" If you say, "Well, I'm carrying nothing," they let you through.
You're literally
what is there needs to be checks for security because things are being brought into the country that shouldn't be brought into the country. Things are being taken out that shouldn't be taken out. Like there has to be checks to these things. So what is the plan? What is the
Yes, that's what I understand. If we are talking about the conventional.
Yesterday we were doing voter registration, and someone came in and said he was Togolese, and they stopped him. But if he had lied and said he was Nigerian, nobody would be any wiser.
No way. That's true.
You see,
those are the minimum number of people that come through our genuine borders. You can be able to check their excesses with security. But you can't be able to check incursion in your borders without marrying the responsibility of the neighboring country too. It's actually a two-way thing. If you say you're going to focus on your borders and build walls, you're only going to have problem in a long time. Because we don't have that resources, we don't have that money. But on the airports and the normal conventional entry points, of course you can ramp up your security in that area. You can be able to buy all the scanning tools and be able to scan and filter as much as possible because these are conventional areas that are predictable. But the majority of the border is unpredictable. And if you talk about border, I think about the entire border of the country, which the larger share of which is unpredictable. So the only way you need to do is to tie their market. Let me even tell you something. You see, there is an agency that is grossly on the record, and they're doing a very fantastic job. Naija Intelligence Agency. They submit hourly intelligence around everything that is happening with the neighboring countries. The only problem they have most of the times is action on those problems. Most of these crises will have been sorted. We have one of the best intelligent people in this country within our intelligence agencies, and they are really fantastically doing their jobs. Now if you study the reports in what they are submitting, most of the times the crisis that is coming into this country is economic crisis. The people that are coming are economic travelers, they are economic infiltrators. Now, if you are able to put some level of economy in their economy, you succeeded in stopping them in the long run. But in the short run, conventional border entry points, you can check them out. You can put your security. How many airports, international airports we have in this country? You can put 20,000 people to be able to get that. If that is, you can put all the machines because they are conventional. But if you are looking at the larger Nigerian society that is surrounded by about 5 different countries, you need to have a comprehensive approach to curtailing it end to end. And the only way to do that is to make sure you work with your intelligence agencies. And they are giving fantastic jobs. I'm telling you, they are submitting very, very fantastic jobs. The only problem they have is action.
What kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of music, but since when I started this campaign, I had hard time catching up stuff. But during my childhood periods, I was a Tupac guy.
Tupac?
Yes.
What's your favorite Tupac
Gangsta
song?
music. A lot of shooting and stuff.
Yeah, if you go to the north, any person you know from the north in my age group, Tupac, Biggie, all those guys are his guys. But as I graduate longer, as I grow older, I began to listen to more of jazz and other things. Like there is one song that illuminates me a lot, The Light of the Sun.
You are 36 years old.
Yes,
You are a very old guy, you are young.
Yes,
so you need to do something. You need to imagine,
You know, something
imagine
like
you are in a music video. You are in a Tupac music video.
Right
Director
now.
says action. So action give us, yeah, come on. Really, where's Mandela? I tag Mandela. So doesn't have to be Tupac, any rap song. You need to give us a rap music video, something for. We just want this to demonstrate. So, even if it's
Thank God, say God to the man. Thank God for the money in the bank.
yeah.
Then me I know the fight in the man. Maybe you want money in the bank.
Come on. Hey.
I know.
This is Nigeria. Look how I'm living now. Look how I'm living now. Everybody be criminal. This is Nigeria.